Stokel leading, 3 seconds now the margin to Todd Fiore. McFadden comfortable in third. This is all really good for him in terms of sealing the inaugural Mini Challenge Championship. This was the Morris move, switches it back. Was pretty close alongside there.
Yeah, it's a tough one to call. Paul saw the move late. You know, the gap opened up and he's stuffed the nose in, and unfortunately he's had contact.
Here's Paul Stokel, absolutely driving away. Just missed out on pole position, but he reckons this car's good whether it's wet or dry, so it doesn't really matter. And the proof's in the timesheets because he is really clearing away.
Absolutely. 3 second lead now. He's doing it easy. He's got pace over the rest of the guys. He'd be looking in the rearview mirror knowing that he's pulling away and watching it all happen behind him.
Here's Todd Fiore, the young Western Australian. He and brother Paul, regulars in the Mini Challenge. Their brother Dean, of course, runner-up in the Porsche Carrera Cup this year.
Yeah, the three Fiore brothers are definitely into their motorsport. I raced against Todd in Formula Ford, and good young steerer, and the other brothers are pretty handy behind the wheel as well. Yeah,
they all tend to drive pretty quickly, this family. Todd was a former Formula Ford runner with the Sonic team and then stepped away from motor racing for a little while, but the new Mini Challenge dragged him back. He's just losing a little bit of time. He was pretty comparable with Stokel that time around. But this is the guy, Neil McFadden, who won the first round of Mini Challenge first time out at Eastern Creek. He's carrying 35 kilograms, so not quite as much as Jason Bargwanna, but he's in a very, very comfy position.
Yeah, it is. Not as much weight as Bargwanna, but still 35 kilos more than some of the other guys. It's definitely noticeable.
Jason White there with some of the battle scars down the side of his machine. The 2005 Target Tasmania winner.
He'll be looking for the move inside this final corner sequence here to outbrake him. And there he goes, up the inside. Not quite far enough up the inside. Settles back in behind.
It's been really interesting with the Mini Challenge this year. The last few tracks that they've gone to have been the big, fast, wide-open tracks. We've had Sandown, we've had Bathurst and Phillip Island, and the racing's actually been better in some instances at the big, wide tracks rather than the tighter, smaller tracks like Wakefield Park. It's quite amazing how that changes around.
Yeah, it does. It enables the cars to really run wide open, I guess. The longer flowing circuits gives everyone a good chance to settle themselves down and make good position, but it also makes for good racing. And here, although it is a small track, the guys are having a good race.
The Uberstar update, Stuart Appleby is 13th, 4 seconds down on the next car in front, which is Robert Graham. There he is. And you can see in the background how Jason Ackermanis is. He's sitting back watching. He will be ruining this. He will absolutely hate this because I reckon every Western Bulldog player will be straight on the phone.
Yeah, I mean, probably not the way he wanted to start his racing career as such, but hopefully they can get it fixed for the next race and he can get out there and get some more experience behind the wheel.
Back up front, and still the track conditions have been a little dicey, particularly for some of these guys who either haven't been to Symmons Plains or haven't been here before in a Mini, because of course these cars are front-wheel drive, and I guess sometimes we think front-wheel drive, that can be evil, but these cars are really finely tuned. They are built by the BMW Motorsport factory that build the World Touring Car Championship cars, so they're real proper race cars.
Absolutely, they do a fantastic job. Great machinery, all even machinery as well. So all 15, 16 cars in the field, all absolutely even except for the success ballast. That's what makes the category such great racing.
This is Gary Young, a former runner in the Performance Car Series in Mitsubishi Lancers and the like. Has been with the Mini Series since it began earlier in the year. Sitting 6th at the moment. The long run down through the back sweeper. Stokel not really driving away now. The gap's 3.5 seconds. He's just getting a 10th here or two there on Todd Fiore.
I think Stokel's probably driving around with the elbow on the door now. He's realised that he's pulled a great gap, and he knows that if he can just bring it home, he's got this one in the bag.
A bit further back, it's still going on. This is a good fight. This is White, Young and Paul Fiore. And there's quite a few marks in the doors of quite a few of these cars. And the first few rounds of Mini Challenge, there wasn't really any panel rubbing, but I think the guys have got more and more comfortable with the cars, with each other's driving. We're starting to see a bit of bodywork flexed.
Yeah, I think the first few rounds, everyone was finding their feet, learning the machinery, learning how the cars work, and now they all know who's racing who, and a bit of rivalry out there, and they're all rubbing doors, as it's known.
So it's Paul Stokel still leading the way. comfortable margin in this 14-lapper at Symmons Plains. And things have really settled down now. Jason Bargwanna's fourth, so that streak that he keeps on reminding me about, it might just end today. He's had 8 in a row. He clean swept them at Sandown, at Phillip Island, and he got 2 wins at Bathurst because the last race was unfortunately declared a no race. So that one doesn't block the copybook, so he still can keep the streak alive. But the problem is he's 8.7 seconds behind the leader, Paul Stokel.
Yeah, Paul's making it difficult for him, but you can never count out Bargs. He's one of the better drivers we have in the country, and he showed that in the mini-series so far this season.
The run back under the bridge, turn 3. The old pits actually used to be on the inside there. It's all changed now. And you can see that guard flapping away on the outside of Scott Bargwanna's car. Nathan Gear just behind in 10th spot. And this hurts in the championship because he needs to finish in front of McFadden constantly. Third for McFadden will give him 48 points. Gear in 10th, he'll only get 18. So there's 30 points that he throws away.
Yeah, absolutely. When you're in a championship, you need to maximise the points you get. As we see here, Paul Fiore and...
Gary Young, a bit of a hit and run, hip and shoulder.
Bumped him off into the wall there.
Back with Neil McFadden, turn 2.
Great part of the circuit here, very undulating into turn 2. Lots of bumps and lumps and things that unsettle the car. When you get through the corner, it's very rewarding.
Gets one more gear before the braking application. H-pattern gearbox, turbocharged 4-cylinder engine. Good for about 154 kilowatts. And this is what it looks like over the shoulder. And how late under brakes do these things go compared to the weight of a V8 supercar?
Yeah, they arrive at the corner a little bit slower, and they're obviously a lot lighter, so they can get into the corner a lot harder under brakes. And as he sets himself on for the long winding run onto what we call the front straight, not much of a straight.
And then this crest at turn 1, settle the car, pick up a little bit of the curb at turn 2. Fastest man on the track that time through was Jason Bargwanna, heading off onto the final lap. And Stokel's backed it off. He's cruising towards the checkered flag.
Paul, very experienced driver. He knows that he did the hard work early in the race, got a gap, and he's just consolidating now, looking after the brakes and the tyres, I assume, and looking forward to the next race.
Cruising on through the sweeper for the final time. Paul Stokel has been in Carrera Cup the last couple of years, joined the Mini Challenge this year. Is on target here to head it home in race 1, round 7 at Symmons Plains. Home soil, there's no better place to do it. So Paul Stokel winds it through. He's cruised the last couple of laps, and he'll take the checkered flag in style over Todd Fiore. Great job from the young Western Australian. The margin's 1.5 seconds at the end. McFadden in 3rd. And Bargs, the streak is broken. 4th, though, is still strong points. And even though he missed a round or 2 at the start of the year, he could still finish top 5 in the championship.
Absolutely. Solid performance again by Bargwanna, and just showing why he's one of the well-respected drivers in the country.
Jason White in position 5. Good job on debut from Gary Young. Paul Morris, 7th in his first run in Mini Challenge. Scott Bargwanna and Nathan Gear rounding out the top 10. But all the action really was going on before we even got started. But there's lots more coming up from Symmons Plains in Tasmania. Jason Ackermanis finding the grass and going over on debut.